Dear students, welcome to the second part of Vocabulary and Grammar for Academic Writing, Unit 5 in Writing for Academic and Professional Success, prescribed as common course in English for second semester UG programs in Calicut University. The first element to be discussed under grammar in academic writing is completeness of sentence. Completeness of sentence is a basic requirement in all types of formal writing. The sentence we use must be complete because incomplete sentences hinder our communication. A sentence is basically complete. Look at the definition of a sentence. A sentence is a group of words which convey a complete idea or thought. It starts with a capital letter and ends with a full stop or question mark or exclamation mark. A sentence may contain two types of clauses, independent clause and dependent clause. An independent clause conveys a complete idea and so it can stand alone, while a dependent clause does not convey a complete idea and so it cannot stand alone. Take this example. When I was at school, I used to play cricket. It has two clauses. The first part, when I was at school, does not convey a complete idea, so it is a dependent clause. It has meaning only when we add an independent clause to it. The second part, I used to play cricket, it gives a complete idea and it can stand alone, so it is an independent clause. So we must be careful not to present dependent clauses as complete sentences in our writing. Now let's look into the term clause. What is a clause? A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a predicate. It is different from a phrase. A phrase is a group of words that does not have a subject and a predicate. For example, in the corner is a phrase because it does not have a subject and a predicate. There are two types of clauses, independent clause and dependent clause. An independent clause has a subject and a predicate and it can stand alone and express a complete thought. See this example, he came late. It has a subject and a predicate and the idea is complete, so it is an independent clause. What is a dependent clause? A dependent clause has a subject and predicate, but it cannot stand alone and so cannot express a complete thought. Take this example, as he came late. It's not complete, so it is a dependent clause. Now let's do an activity. Identify dependent and independent clauses in the following sentences. First one, I ran to the class when the bell rang. Here the first part, I ran to the class, is independent clause because it has complete meaning without the second part. When the bell rang is a dependent clause because its meaning is not complete without the first part. Take the second one, wear mask when you go out. Here, wear mask is an independent clause because its meaning is complete. When you go out is a dependent clause because it has no complete meaning without the first part. Third, as he is very cunning, he can survive. As he is very cunning is dependent clause. He can survive is an independent clause. If you submit your work today, they will accept it. Here the first part is a dependent clause and the second part, they will accept it, is an independent clause. Last one, as soon as the film started, I fell asleep. I fell asleep is an independent clause because it is complete. But the first part, as soon as the film started, is not complete, so it is a dependent clause. The second element is fragment. What is a fragment? A fragment is an incomplete sentence or disconnected piece of a main clause. So, using fragment is a common mistake in writing. The easiest way to correct a fragment is to remove the full stop and link it to the next or previous sentence. Let's see some examples of fragments and how to correct it. Now let's see some examples of fragments and how to correct it. Number one, there are many approaches to reading literature. Full stop. Feminist, Marxist, psychoanalytic, and cultural. Here the second part is a fragment because it is just a list of words only. So we can correct this by adding the second part to the first part using a term like such as. So let's see the revised version. There are many approaches to reading literature such as feminist, Marxist, psychoanalytic, and cultural. See second example, I am planning to buy a new car. The one I am using is very old. The second part is complete, but it can be connected to the first part to bring more clarity to the expression. So this can be revised as I am planning to buy a new car because the one I am using is very old. The third element is subject-verb agreement. What is subject-verb agreement? It means a singular subject takes a singular verb and a plural subject takes a plural verb. So subject-verb agreement related mistakes are common in our writing. More possibility of such mistakes when we use compound subjects like either Raju or his sons. Here we have a confusion whether the verb should be singular or plural. And when we use indefinite pronouns like anybody, somebody, and nobody. Let's see some examples. One of the boys in the class is not attending the program. Here the subject is one of the boys, not boys. So it is singular, one of the boys. So we used a singular verb is in the sentence. Second one, a bouquet of roses was presented to her. Here the subject is not roses but a bouquet of roses. It is singular, a bouquet of roses. So we used was. And third one, the members of the management are happy about my performance. Here the subject is members of the management. It is plural. So we used are as verb. Fourth one is neither my parents nor my sister knows him. Here the subject is a compound one combined by neither nor. In this case, we have to give preference to the second subject, that is the subject near to the verb. Here the second subject is singular, so we used a singular verb knows. Fifth one, neither my sister nor my parents know him. Here the second subject is plural, so the verb is plural. Sixth one, either Priya or her father has to attend the party. This is also a compound subject joined by either or. In this case also we have to give preference to the second subject which is singular, so we used has as verb. And 7, either Priya or her friends do not attend the program. The second subject is plural, so we used do as verb. 8, Arun as well as his children is well educated. This is also a compound subject combined by as well as. In this case, we have to give preference to the first subject, not the second subject. So, first subject is singular, so we have to use a singular verb. And ninth one, 100 rupees is not a big amount now. Rupees is singular, 100 rupees is a singular subject, so we have to use singular verb. And 10th one, nothing is impossible. Nothing is singular, so we have to use singular verb. A list of confusing singular subjects and plural subjects is given in your textbook. Read them carefully, and here I give you some sample words of singular subjects and plural subjects. See the list of singular subjects: every, everybody, nobody, each, nothing, something, somebody. All these are singular subjects. 10 years, 100 rupees, 20 kilometers. Though they appear to be plural, they are actually singular subjects. The committee, the jury, the crew, many a child, bread and butter, all these are singular subjects. Now let's see the list of plural subjects: both, many, few, most. 10 100 rupee notes. 100 rupees is singular, but when we say 10 100 rupee notes or 500 rupee notes, it's plural. Dollars. The committee members, the jury members, many children, many a child is singular, many children is plural. The scissors, it's a plural subject, though it's a singular thing. The fourth element is diversify sentences. This means we have to use different types of sentences like simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence in an academic work. It helps you avoid monotony and gives emphasis whenever required. Let me give you simple definitions of these sentences and examples. First one, simple sentence. A simple sentence contains one independent clause. For example, Priya wrote a letter. This is a simple sentence because it has one subject and a predicate. That means one independent clause. And second one is compound sentence. A compound sentence contains two independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction. For example, she wrote a letter and sent it to her friend. This contains two independent clauses joined by and. The third one is complex sentence. It contains one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses joined by a subordinating conjunction. For example, as the friend had left his place, it did not reach him. The last one is compound complex sentence. It contains two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. For example, she wrote a new letter when she got his new address and sent it to him again. We have to discuss three more elements under grammar, namely consistent use of tenses, parallelism, and avoiding wordiness. These terms will be discussed in the next video, and we will also discuss questions from this module in the next video. Thank you.